Hey guys, we're going to talk about some of the more difficult leather wraps to apply today. Those would be your embossed leather wraps like the Rustic Relic or the new one that I've got in called a Canyon Lizard. Anytime you have embossed leathers, just by nature, the leather being compressed makes it a little more stiff than normal. A good way to make this application easier with these leathers is just to apply heat. You can use a microwave to do that. I normally will take a leather wrap and I'll put it in a styrofoam bowl or something where it will be set down, where the heat will be retained. I also keep it coiled up. Put it in for about 20 seconds. This will heat the leather up and it'll stay hot for about a minute or so. But what the heat will do is make the leather a little more pliable, and it'll make it much easier to stretch and form to your hilt. Now you'll still have to use a little muscle to do that, but you probably are not going to encounter the puckering and feeling like you have to fight the leather. It'll just make it a little more flexible and a little easier to work with. So having said that, I'll just I'll go through the demo here. Now normally what I do is I'll leave this leather coiled and in the bowl. That way it will stay hot. You don't want to take it all out and let it dangle and cool down, because then you're right back to where you started. But if you leave it in the bowl, it'll retain the heat as you pull the coil out, and so basically you won't get the coil until you need it, if that makes sense. Do like you normally would when you wrap this leather. Use a little muscle, pull it, but what you will notice right off the bat is it's much more flexible and much easier to work with. And if you can see my bowl there, you'll notice that it's just rolling off like anything would roll off tape or anything else. But as I said, it will retain the heat. As these coils are coming to my hand, I can still feel the warmth in the leather, which makes it easier to stretch, easier to work with. You'll still have to pull this a little more than you might something like a Guccio Black or anything that might be a little thinner or a little more flexible, but this should certainly make your application easier otherwise. So having said that, I will just follow to the end. You can watch as I try to apply the leather here, and we'll stretch it down. Now this particular one I'm using in the demo here, I've already cut to length, just to make the demo a little easier and to make the visual a little easier. So when we get to the end down here, we should be lined up with our taper. This leather is actually a little warm and we should fall right into place with it. So there comes my taper, if you can see it, and it'll drop right there on the end, and then I will follow this all the way around. Now of course this is a dry fit, but this procedure will mold the leather to the hilt. You can take it off later and apply glue or whatever method you use to apply that, and it'll make it much easier to fit because it's already molded. But that'll give you a go-to, an idea, a way to make an application of a leather that may be thicker or more rigid. It should make the job a little bit easier. If you have any questions, just hit me up. I'm happy to help. Thanks for watching, guys.